Hello and welcome to Module 6. In this module, we're covering material and oral citations, and you'll be citing material in your speeches as well as some of the written work that you do in this course. Some of you may be familiar with APA style already, or you may have used Chicago or MLA. Today, we're going to focus on what it looks like to cite that information as you're speaking it rather than writing it, and then what kinds of information you should be citing. There's a separate video about how to use APA style. The current edition is APA 7, and so that is separate, but we are referring to the same kind of citations. There are various types of supporting material. Obviously, examples are a really common one. People will typically use examples to illustrate their point if they're explaining something new to you that you aren't exactly familiar with. Whereas if you are familiar with the scenario, they might choose to use a testimony instead of a success story of how something works or a way that a person was impacted by the service or the product. Narratives, obviously, stories, we use those to evoke emotion, to build connection. And you can also use stories to explain how something works too. It's just not quite as rigorous, I think, as trying to provide something like facts or statistics, which you would definitely need to cite if you were saying, for example, there are 10,000 people at Texas Tech who use this product. We need some citation on that data. And same with statistics. If there are 49% of people in the US that use an iPhone, we need to have some kind of data backing that up so that we know it's not a made up figure. What makes a credible source? We need to know the who, what, where, why, just like you probably learned in like a middle school, high school English class when they're saying, how do we write a news blurb or how do we start writing a research paper? We need to know the details of what it is, where it's from, and why we should trust it. So ask yourself, who posted this and why? Is it an article from a peer-reviewed journal? The answer there is pretty clear. Why? They publish credible research. If it's, Aunt so-and-so posted this on Facebook, we need to know more about the material to determine whether or not it's credible at that point. What are the source's qualifications? Is it the New York Times or is it the Daily Torador? We have a great paper in the College of Media and Communication, but it is written by student journalists. And so it's not of the same caliber as, say, a New York Times, a Washington Post, a Wall Street Journal. Where is similar information found? Try to locate the information in 3 other credible places. So if you are citing information about when was Texas Tech founded, you're going to be able to find well over 3 places that tell you 1923, Lubbock, Texas, kind of standard information. Whereas if you're trying to cite something that says Apollo Ono bought his first pair of skates for $30, that may be in his memoir, but you may not be able to find it anywhere else. So just remember that it's best to try and triangulate your sources, figure out where they're coming from and if they confirm each other. And then ask, is this information timely? If you're citing a statistic about how many people have a television in their house from 1983, it's not going to be accurate for today. Different types of sources are important to recognize as well. Primary sources provide the firsthand account or direct evidence of an event or the information. So digital collections, like we have the Southwest collection, that's one of the, I believe it's the biggest Vietnam archive on a college campus. I would have to cite that information. Personal knowledge and experience. So you did something yourself. Interviews and surveys that you conducted, so original field research. And then secondary sources provide analysis or commentary. Most sources will be secondary. their periodicals, anything you would cite that you find on our library database, reference works, internet sources, observations from someone else, things like that. Okay, we're citing sources in our speech. First, we're going to demonstrate quality and range of research, which means that you're not just citing one paper over and over and over. Show reliable sources that support your position. It's going to help you avoid plagiarism, which is really important. And then it gives you credibility as an ethical speaker. It's also going to enhance your authority. And it's going to win support for your viewpoint. Finally, we can enable listeners to locate your sources so they can go and find them later and refer to them on their own or double check what you were saying. So these are all really important points. Oral citations alert the audience to where the information is coming from. You're telling them that who, what, when, where, why that you asked when you picked the source. It's going to give you a sense of trustworthiness, and you're going to have a more fluid delivery because you're not having to come up with some kind of complex piece of information. You've got it there in front of you, written by experts, but you have to give them credit. Qualifying the source, a source qualifier, a brief description of the source's qualifications to address a topic is also really important. You'll notice on the rubrics that there in the intro section, there is a credibility ranking. How well do you establish your expertise on the subject that you're talking about? Or if not your expertise, the fact that you've done the research to at least provide a comprehensive summary of the topic. That is all for now in this unit. Make sure to go through your assigned readings for this week. Those are going to be really important reference points for you as you plan to do your own oral citations as well as your written citations. Remember to visit the APA 7 lecture video as well. If you have questions about APA format, you're always welcome to ask me, send me an email, come see me in office hours, or refer to some of the sources that are in the video for APA 7. And I would recommend highly the OWL at Purdue research website. It's their online writing lab research publication. So if you just Google OWL at Purdue, and then make sure you're looking at APA 7, that'll be the default when you click on APA. But there are 6 previous versions that are not the same. So make sure that you're looking at APA and not Chicago or MLA, and that it is APA 7. As always, let me know if you have questions about any of this, and I will see you soon. Be well.